It's not going to go away. Joe Biden may be afraid to do it. I'm not sure. Maybe he won't. Maybe he is. He's got to address it. The rioting has to stop. Chris, as you know and I know, it's showing up in the polling. It's showing up in focus groups. It is the only thing right now that is sticking.
So that's why the media ignores the violence, because it didn't suit them politically. But once the polls show that mayhem hurts Joe's chances, it's time to speak up. How gross is that? As gross as Brian Stelter in a Speedo. Because it means all those businesses burned, all those people injured, all those jobs and lives lost happened because the press didn't see political value in reporting it. And by ignoring it, it continued. Well, of course, until now.
This is on their watch.
It is on their watch.
Mr. Vice President, if you don't believe that your faith demands that you speak about what's happening in Kenosha right now, not in terms of showing riots and fomenting tension when it's a symptom of a problem.
They have to talk about these vigilantes, and they have to talk about these groups who go in and start this violence. White guys coming in from these groups, starting unrest, promoting violence.
So now they're upset. Sorry, too late. The ugliness we see now, you built that by ignoring its spread because it didn't suit you to point it out. Remember what you said about Antifa?
Now, too many see the protests as the problem. No, the problem is what forced your fellow citizens to take to the streets. Persistent and poisonous inequities and injustice. And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful. People who show up to fight against bigots are not to be judged the same as the bigots, even if they do resort to the same kinds of petty violence.
So where does that petty violence lead? Let's hear from a widow.
As I slept, looted on earth, he was murdered by people who didn't know and just didn't care. He would have done anything to help them. Violence and destruction are not legitimate forms of protest.
Ann Dorn told the story the media chose to ignore because it wasn't beneficial to them. The demonization of law enforcement, the elevation of anarchy as protest has led to what was predicted here some time ago. The mayhem begets mayhem. Here's Rand Paul and his wife barely escaping the mob after Trump's speech. What if there weren't armed officers there? So the mob proves everything said at the convention. Right, Burgess?